Hey everybody, this is Andrea Jenson from the Cash Flow CFO, and you're listening to the Cash Flow CFO Podcast, the show that explores the financial side of running a business for people who want to maximize profitability and scale with confidence. If you want to make smart financial decisions based on data and put more of your hard-earned profits into your pocket, this is the podcast for you. This episode of the Cash Flow CFO podcast is brought to you by the Cash Flow CFO. Did you know that on average, business owners have up to 84% of their personal net worth tied up in their business? Our virtual CPAs and CFOs, as well as accounting and bookkeeping experts, empower business owners just like you to make big leaps that help them maximize profitability and scale with confidence. Visit thecashflowcfo.com for more information, and thank you for listening.
Hey everyone, it's Andrea, and our guest for today is John Dwyer. John is a marketing enigma, a direct response customer attraction expert who thinks way outside the box. His marketing consultancy business is called the Institute of Wow, and John's mantra is that one's marketing needs to wow prospects. He's also the guy who shocked the marketing world some years back when he convinced Jerry Seinfeld to come out of retirement to be the spokesman for the Australian banking institution, the Greater Building Society. Jerry headed up a free vacation campaign which broke home loan lending records and remains folklore in global banking. This was probably one of the most successful incentive promotions in the world, resulting in many billions of dollars in extra income and extra home loans. John helps business owners understand how to exploit platforms like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn by implementing incentive-based marketing offers that can be targeted specifically to certain audiences. His client list reads like a who's who of business and includes the likes of Rupert Murdoch's News Limited, 7-Eleven, Westfield Shopping Centers, Walt Disney, KFC, and BP, to name a few. He has created a done-for-you customer incentive packages that businesses can plug and play, including extraordinary customer rewards like fuel savings and free vacations. Welcome to the show, John.
Thank you, Andrea. Gee, that guy sounds pretty good. That guy sounds really good. I don't think
give yourself a little pat on the back there.
Yes, I don't think I'll be able to live up to that bio.
Well, I love it. And I love marketing because without marketing, there's no business. Without, business, without the customers to be in the business, you're out of business real fast. So tell me, how did you get started in the marketing industry?
Look, I was born in the 1800s, and so therefore I've been doing this for a little while. And I got a taste for it towards the end of my school days, so I guess you're 17, 18 at that time. And I did an advertising degree at University College, and I fell in love with the fact that you could use different tactics, creative tactics, to persuade people to buy things they really didn't want. So anyway, I thought, wow, if you can do that to persuade people to buy things that they don't really want, imagine how powerful this would be if you persuaded them to buy things that they actually did want. And so I was lucky enough to get the job as in the marketing department of a big supermarket chain in Australia called Woolworths, and they do a lot of what we call incentive-based marketing. So I learned a lot about how to do this stuff, and then went out and set up my own business.
I love it. And that's interesting, right? Because there's two ways to market to somebody. One is they know they want it and they're going to go get it. And the other is like fear-based kind of, if you don't get this, then this. And, we hear a lot about that in business, right? When you're setting up your strategy for customer, for lead acquisition, right? Before they even become a customer, you need eyeballs in your business. You need leads. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, what I find I came from the corporate world, so I was looking after doing marketing for bigger businesses up until about a dozen years ago. And that's the McDonald's and the KFCs, the monopoly style promotions that you see at McDonald's and the KFC and the scratch bingos for Rupert Murdoch's newspapers and a lot of the 7-Eleven stuff. So I had a reasonable sort of pedigree in providing this stuff to the big businesses. And about a dozen years ago, I said to my wife, look, why don't we actually, do the Anthony Robbins thing? Why don't we hit the seminar circuit and provide this IP to smaller businesses? Because smaller businesses, and let's face it, you'd know in the game that you're in, 96% of American businesses are doing less than $1 million turnover. So there's a big, big market out there. And likewise in Australia and the UK, 96% of businesses are doing less than $1 million. And they are good technicians, but they don't know how to market. And that's not I'm not having a shot at them. It's just that because they are so busy being the technician in their business, they haven't got a marketing department. And so therefore what we did about a dozen years ago is we swapped across to provide this stuff, which normally the big businesses can only do because really they can afford to pay the people like me. And we created this direct response marketing business called the Institute of Wow. And what we do is that we help smaller businesses, not necessarily always under $1 million. We've got plenty of businesses that are doing 5 and 10 and 20, but most of the businesses are small businesses that need marketing help, but they don't know where to go.
Tell me more about that.
Well, for example, I keep on saying to everybody, look, if you don't have an organic wow factor, then you have to come up with one, an artificial wow factor. So these guys here, Apple iPhone, they don't need me. They've got an organic wow factor. There's no other iPhone like Apple. Okay, now the other competitors will say there is, but if you are in a Me Too industry, so you're selling solar panels, or you might be doing electrical services or plumbing, you're in a Me Too industry. There's 100 people out there doing exactly the same as you are doing, and so I suggest to those people they better start thinking about a Happy Meal toy, doing something or providing a reward to people that is going to distinguish their business from their competitors. And I can tell you, 97% of businesses have never given an incentive because it's too easy to drop their pants. Okay, so what happens is that they drop their prices, and the guy down the road can go 10% less than them within 5 minutes. Whereas if the hardware store opposite the gigantic 40-ton gorilla hardware store said, look, spend a certain amount of money with me and I'll give you a free pitchfork when you buy the wheelbarrow, then the other 40-ton gorilla across the road, the Costco-style business, they'd have 12 months worth of committee meetings working out how to beat him. But if he actually dropped his price, they'll beat him in 5 minutes. And so my advice to small to medium-sized businesses is stop price discounting, use a Happy Meal toy philosophy to actually distinguish your products or services from your competitors, and you just watch what happens.
Very interesting. So what are some of the tools that you recommend to, let's say, a plumbing company?
Yeah, okay. So therefore, if I was a plumbing company, I would be holding a contest on Facebook tomorrow, and I would be saying, win a $500 plumbing voucher from me, just click here. And obviously it would say more than that, but nonetheless, you'd have the picture of the leaking tap and the plumbers under the, fixing it, or the toilet, whatever it might be. They click that button and they go through to a landing page. And this can, for any business, by the way, but you just pick plumber, so I'll stick to that. They go through to a landing page, and that landing page is the contest page. And we get everything but their blood group on that page, okay? So we make sure that we find out that they've got a job, that they actually own the home, preferably they have teeth. And so therefore, then basically they enter the contest to win the $500 plumbing voucher, and you give one of them away. But guess what? You've got 99.9% of all the other people who entered who have got a leaking tap or broken toilet. You don't enter to win a plumbing voucher if you haven't got a problem, right? We did last week. It was a dentist, and he's selling those Invisalign invisible braces, mainly for the kids, but adults as well. And they're not cheap. They're $5,000 or $6,000. Most people who buy the Invisalign braces go on a payment plan. And so he said, look, I just need more business. So I put on more dentists, and so therefore I need to keep them busy. And he said, have you got anything? I said, yeah, we've got an avalanche leads for me. They'll smash us out of the park within a day or two. So we just put the advertising campaign on Facebook, and you can do it on Instagram and other platforms, but let's just say it's Facebook. And it says, would you like to win Invisalign invisible braces? And he had 978 leads in the first week. And all of those people either had crooked teeth or their children had crooked teeth. You don't enter a contest to win braces if you don't have a crooked teeth. Yeah. And he can't get to them. He got smashed out of the park, and he can't get there. The idea is very, very simple. It's really, really simple, but there are some little secret sauce elements to it that we have. And so we've got a robot now ringing them. So we're pretty heavy down the AI path, and so therefore we have an AI female robot ringing all those people saying, look, you didn't win the invisible braces, but we have an incredible deal for you. If you want to actually book your child in this week, not only will we give you a special price, but we'll give you a free vacation for the family. And we give him the vacations for $50. They're worth $1,000. They're 3 nights in Vegas and New York and Orlando and all sorts of places because we have a relationship with a travel company. So therefore, they then contact let's call them the losers, which are 99% of them, and they say, look, you didn't win the invisible braces, but we've got a special deal this week. You can get it for X dollars, and if you get in by Friday, we'll give you a free vacation to Vegas. We'll shut the gates all over.
Yeah, that's great. I love it.
I actually, at this point, Andrea, I should say evil, Dr. Evil.
Well, so, when we look at all the different ways you can pay for a lead in your business, right? We're looking at our acquisition cost. So break it down for me, the expenses they would have. They would have Facebook, some kind of advertising, right? To get the people to see the promotion. And then the landing page is very minimal, right? But then it's $50 per person you're sending on the vacation. Is that kind of, are there other things that business owners should think about?
If anyone's watching or listening to this, you can swipe that idea and do it yourself. I mean, obviously, we have a package. We charge people $997 a month to do it for them. And most people are like me. They got a sore tooth. They go to a dentist, excuse the pun, but I'm the worst handyman in the world. So therefore, when a door breaks in our house or something goes wrong, we've got to ring up MacGyver. And I just figure that if you've got a sore tooth, go to a dentist. And in this instance, most people for less than $1,000 a month get us to do it for them. But if they want to do it themselves, that's fine. The expenses are just, obviously whatever your daily budget is for Facebook. And that's up to you, whether you spend $20 or $30 or $40 a day. I'll give you a classic example. There was a business a few weeks ago that came on board, and they've got walking frames for elderly people. And so therefore they've got one called the Wheelie Walker. And believe it or not, it's sort of like a skateboard for old people. It's got the wheels on it. The guy who actually had come to one of my seminars and asked if I could help him with this insulted me by saying, did I want to do a contra? So anyway, I wish him all the bad luck in the world. So anyway, we put together a Facebook campaign with an older person with a wheelie walker, a walking frame, and we said, win a wheelie walker walking frame for you or maybe your mum and dad. So the people that are in their 40s or 50s, they've got parents in their 80s, they might want to win it for them. And he's got a $5.2 million business, so he's doing all right. We just added another $2 million to his business overnight because what happened is that he's now discovered how to get a bucket load of leads really quickly. Guess what? He ran that in 1 week, got 822 leads, and his brain exploded, of course. He said, my God, I wouldn't get 822 leads in months. I got that in a week. And he spent $40 a day. So $40 a day and 800 leads. So therefore I said, well, what can you handle? He said, I can't get back to them. Now we've got a robot doing it for him now, but at first he said, I can't get back to them. I said, well, how many can you get to? He said, maybe 400, which was rubbish anyway. He wouldn't even get to 400. So we just say, well, don't spend $40 a day, spend $20 a day. You see, once you've done it for that first week, then you know how to, basically it's leads on tap whenever you want it. I've never come across anything like this before. And I've run every contest you could possibly think of, This is like a money tree because once you actually run it for the first week or two and you know what your cost per lead is, in his instance it was 35 cents, you then just taper the marketing spend to whatever number of leads you want to get a day.
Right, but you can because no sense in bringing in extra leads that you can't attend to, right? Because then you're wasting money. Yeah, absolutely.
In your instance, for example, you would actually provide someone with a health check, a financial health check, and whoever enters that more than likely is unhappy with their current financial advisor.
Right.
And all of that. So you don't get leads, you get red hot leads. These are people who are screaming, take my money.
Start scaling with confidence today. The Cash Flow CFO is a full-service accounting and fractional CFO firm. So it goes without saying that our financial experts are phenomenal at number crunching. But more than that, they are expert communicators who will connect all those complicated financial dots in a way that just makes sense. We don't wait in the wings and check in every so often either. With our boutique approach, we position ourselves front and center, watching over every dollar that comes in and out of your business as if it was our own. So if your business is making money and you're ready to take it to the next level, but you're not sure you completely understand your numbers, and you're looking for that trusted guide to help you build a roadmap to reach your financial goals, it sounds like we would be a great fit. Visit thecashflowcfo.com and let's get started empowering you to build and scale your business the way you want to today.
Usually when we're looking at, setting a marketing budget for a business, we're looking at here's your lead acquisition costs, but only a small percentage of those actually move through the sales funnel to become a paying customer. So when we look at the lead acquisition KPI, key performance indicator, versus a sales conversion KPI, they're very, very different. So that's a great point to mention.
Well, I'm a member of the Joe Polish Genius Network out of Phoenix, and he has all the cool kids at lunchtime as part of that club. So you talk about Anthony Robbins and Russell Brunson and Frank Kern, all those guys. And I brought this up in one of our Zooms to these guys. Their jaws just dropped. They said, "Oh my God, that's so simple." I said, "Yeah, it's probably because I've come from a contest background. I've done all this rubbish for McDonald's and all sorts of other people." And I said, "Look, it's not about. When you're on the seminar circuit, you've got to write books. So my book is the Avalanche Leads Formula. So we're used to doing this sort of stuff." And I said, it just doesn't bring avalanche leads because when people get avalanche leads, they know there's going to be a good percentage of tire kickers. This brings avalanche leads that deliver probably 90% red hot prospects.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you don't enter a contest to win a walking frame if you're a 25-year-old gym junkie.
Right. Very, very true. Yeah. So talk about being able to niche down on your target market, for a incredibly cheap, compared to the other avenues out there. So,
well, that's it. I mean, people say to me, target market. I said, no, you don't want a target market. You want the most profitable target market. So therefore, if it's going to be a wrinkle cream and it's expensive, then you want to hit Beverly Hills, California, in the suburbs where, women are over a certain age and they might be interested in wrinkle cream and they'll pay anything for it. So target audience is fine, but that's too broad for us. And courtesy of platforms like Facebook these days, you can zero in like a laser target.
Right.
And you don't want your target audience. You want your most profitable target audience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that's great. I wonder, could you flip this and use it as a tool to bring in targeted employees, maybe people on a job posting or things like that?
Yep. And look, in the woke world that we live in, of course, you've got to be careful when you're recruiting that you don't exclude certain people. For example, I don't like short people, so I've never employed a short.
We wouldn't work out because I'm 5'3", sometimes 5'4".
Andrea, you will love this because my sarcasm actually bounced back to me. I was doing a seminar a couple of years back, and so I'm on stage doing the usual dad jokes mixed in with a little bit of marketing. And as most frustrated tonight, so her son. And at the end of it, I said, look, if you'd like to join the program, go down the back of the room and we'll have smoke coming out of your credit card pretty quickly. And otherwise, if you don't, then go home. And this guy walks up to me and he said, about my vintage, and he says, "Oh, JD, look, I'd like to join the program." But he said, "My wife wasn't here, but I rang her up and told her how good this stuff was." He said, "But I have a problem." And what I had said before we finished, I said, "Look, we do have restrictions like Disneyland. We have a height restriction. We don't let any small people in because they're like carnies. They scare me." And I said, the other thing is we don't let any women into the program if their name is Beryl or Esme, because have you ever met an interesting Beryl or Esme? And when he comes up, he says, "Look, I'd like to join, but I can't." And I said, "Why?" He said, "My wife's only 5'2". So I said to him, "Look, we'll have to have a committee meeting. I can't make a decision on that." And then he said, "No, it gets worse." I said, "What?" He said, "Her name's Esme."
Oh my gosh. You're like, "I'm just kidding. I will absolutely take your money just like everybody else's."
I gave him a high five and made sure he knew it was.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I got my own medicine back in front. One thing that I think your listeners and viewers might be interested in is the appropriateness of the Happy Meal toy. Okay, so if you're going to give away an adult Happy Meal toy to get someone to buy your product, if I walked into a menswear shop to buy a shirt and they gave me a skateboard, then it's not appropriate. I'm not going to use a skateboard. If they gave me a dining voucher, that would be good. But guess what? When they give me a $50 dining voucher, I know that they've just valued me at $50. If they give me a cinema ticket for two, then of course I know they've valued me at $50. But if you give someone something like a vacation for 3, 4, 5 nights to Vegas or Orlando or New York or wherever it might be, and it's worth $1,000, but it only cost you $50, that's when you've got the winner. Okay, and I'm not hopefully in a distasteful way flogging my vacation program, but the thing is that the reason McDonald's program works so well is that toy cost them 20 cents to make in China, but when the parent or grandparent buys the Happy Meal and pulls out the toy, that toy in Kmart's $5. So if you've got a reward that's a low cost but a high perceived value, you're cooking with gas. And that's why this vacation program, I'm going to name drop Seinfeld, but it came from the Seinfeld campaign because we had Jerry promoting vacations for us in Australia, and it went nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think you do actually see this in a lot of different industries, but you don't realize it's there.
Yeah.
I feel like, right? So it's not something that is on the consumer's radar as being, I'm being marketed to at, XYZ. It's something that it's just so natural, and the Happy Meal is exactly like the perfect example of that.
Well, you know what it does, Andrea? I mean, it came easy to me because having 6 children, they're all grown up now, they're millennials, but we gave McDonald's for Happy Meal toys for quite a number of years, $7.8 billion a year, I think, and they never, ever ate the hamburger. It was all about the toy. Yeah. And so therefore, even myself, who makes all this stuff up, I could see that it influenced us. I mean, we'd be in a van with, the Von Trapp family, and they'd be screaming and fighting and doing all the usual thing when you got 6 kids in the car. And, if I saw the golden arches, I'd just go, oh, thank God, thank you. And we'd get 6 Happy Meals. So really, one recently, which was a big one, it was a turf farm. And this guy had about 2 or 3 miles worth of turf, as in grass, right, to move. And he came to one of my song and dance things and he said, listen, JD, I've got 3 miles worth of turf, grass, and I've got to get rid of it so I can replant for the next season. He said, have you got any of that wow factor crap that you've got? I said, thank you very much for the compliment. And I said, who's your target audience? He said, well, not mum and dads, because they'd only buy 1 front yard or 1 backyard's worth of grass. My target audience is landscapers, because they might buy 3 or 4 homes at the one time. And I said, what do you think they would like as a Happy Meal toy? He said, I don't know. That's why I'm employing you. I said, I reckon they'd like beer. They'd like a carton of beer, because 99% of them are men. So that's what we did. We sent out an email and sent out a brochure to all the landscapers in that particular city. And I think it was 550 we sent out. And he rings and we just said, basically, get a front yard and a backyard's worth of grass from us. And for every home's worth of grass you get, we'll give you a carton of Crown Lager premium beer. This is an upmarket beer. And there's 24 bottles in a carton, right? So if you walked into a bottle shop, a liquor store, they'd probably be the upmarket $70, $80 carton of beer. He rings me 4 days after we launched it, and he said, JD, we've got a problem, which is not what you want to hear when you've got clients, and I'm sure you can understand that. That's when, oh, God, here we go, problem. What's the problem? He said, we've got no more grass. I said, what? He said, in 4 days, 3 miles worth of grass just disappeared. He said, this thing is so hot that the biggest pain in the backside that I had was a guy called Richard, and Richard used to always bargain on price. He'd say to me, well, your grass is no different from the grass down the road. Again, a Me Too industry. I can get it down the road for, $10 cheaper. And he said that guy rang me up as soon as he got the brochure and said, I want 18 homes worth of grass. I don't care where the grass gets here. I need the 18 cartons of beer by Friday. I've got a party.
There you go. There you go. I love it. Yeah. Well, this is so great. So where can our listeners learn more about the wow factor and get it for their business if they're need some red hot?
Well, what I would like to do is I'd like to give access to a free book for everyone, because you're talking to a marketer, of course. So therefore, this is a little bit different from most books. It's a large one. It's about the size of a tabloid newspaper. And I told you before we started that you were interviewing an idiot. And so therefore, when I was asked to write a book by the promoters that put you on stage, I said, I don't want to write a book. And they said, no, you've got to write a book. So I decided if we called the Institute a wow, we would write a big book, and this is called the Wow Manifesto. And inside here is 300 pages of all of the most successful direct response marketing campaigns that I've done. I didn't put the losing ones in there. I thought that would be a good idea to leave them out. And so therefore, if you want that and you want to even get a taste for this stuff, what we do is that each week we have an hour where you can get more of this stuff. And you don't have to pay anything. All you need to do is just go and register at, you're going to laugh. Okay, my name is John Dwyer, but I get JD, so it's getmorejd.com. So if you go to getmorejd.com, you can register to come into next week's 1 hour Zoom session, and I'll answer any question that you like. And there's an evil plan to that, of course, and that is that if you like what you see, it's the calamari outside the seafood shop. If you like the fact that I can give you ideas for your business very, very quickly, there's a chance, just a chance, that you might want to do something with it. So that's the evil plan. Give away free advice, and then those people who might be impressed with that free advice might ask, can you help them more?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You can't go wrong with free advice, right? And it's up to you.
Look, there's a guy in America who does much the same sort of stuff as me, and I've stolen his phrase. It's a great phrase. He said, if you can help people, then show them you can help them by actually helping them. And I mean, this is one way, being a guest on podcasts, of course, but another way is just say, look, come to getmorejd.com and then spend an hour with me, and there'll be 4 or 5 other people on, but nonetheless, spend an hour with me and ask as many questions as you like. I mean, even in your game, it has to be toned appropriately. So the Seinfeld campaign that we had in Australia, I just got him to be the front man for a bank, and he came on TV and social media and just said, get a home loan, get a free vacation. Now, when Jerry Seinfeld says that, the whole country stops, right? And they took an extra $15 billion worth of home loans in just the first few years. Jerry never got a percentage of that. He got a fee. And damn it, I never got a percentage of that either. But the concept of taking their eyes off the interest rate, it just smacked. The Wells Fargo in Australia had no idea what to do. There was this little bank saying, get a home loan from us, swap across from Wells Fargo, and what we will do is that we'll give you a free vacation. They just stole market share like you wouldn't believe. And in your instance, can you imagine you would have a queue at the door if you said, look, these are my credentials. My name's Andrea. I know that I can help you, improve your wealth status. And so therefore I'm willing to give away a free package with me. You would have more clients that you could handle like within 48 hours on Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds amazing. I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. It's been an entertaining conversation. I love that you're very lighthearted and have some great stories, which I could listen to all day long. I love hearing, all the different successes and things that our guests have had. So thank you very much for coming on, and for all of our listeners. The information on how to get in touch with John is in the show notes, so you guys can go and check it out there.
Thank you. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and review, and we'll catch you on the next episode. If you're looking for more content or resources in the meantime, check out our website for information, blogs, and our I've Got a Spreadsheet for That series. That's thecashflowcfo.com. Again, thecashflowcfo.com. We can't wait to hear from you.